Hey everyone, picture this. A robot. Just walked into a factory. Just one robot. But here's what they're not telling you. Behind that robot, there's a $1 trillion Beanstalk being built. Right now. As we speak. Amazon, Microsoft, Google, they're betting everything. $450 billion. That's enough electricity to power 15 nuclear power plants. Let that sink in. 15 nuclear plants. But here's the question that should absolutely terrify you. Are we actually building the future here? Or are we funding the biggest financial bubble in human history? Because somebody's about to be very, very wrong. You need to see this.
Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're talking about the real cost of AI. Not just the software, but the absolutely massive physical and financial world being built to support it. It's like a giant beanstalk, and it all starts with just one seed, or in this case, one amazing robot.
So I'm sure you've seen those videos, right? Robots doing insane backflips, dancing, all that cool stuff. But here's the thing. For the first time, these machines are actually clocking in for their first day of work. They're leaving the lab and hitting the factory floor.
Okay, meet Atlas. This is from the company everyone knows, Boston Dynamics. And what you're looking at here, this isn't some polished demo video. This is the real deal. Atlas is being put to the test inside an actual Hyundai car factory down in Georgia. It's working in a parts warehouse. I mean, this is a huge leap forward.
Now, you might be thinking, hey, I've seen that robot before. Well, yes and no. The older versions you saw were hydraulic, super noisy, kind of clunky. This new guy, totally electric. And that makes all the difference. It's stronger, way more nimble, and just, better suited for working around actual people. And get this, it's designed to be human-sized. It stands about 5'9", weighs around 200 pounds. And that's a really smart move. Why? Because it means you don't have to totally redesign a factory to use it. It can just slot right into spaces that were built for us. This thing isn't a science project anymore. It's a product, ready for the real world.
All right, let's geek out on the specs for a second, because this is where it gets really cool. It can lift over 100 pounds, work in crazy hot or cold temperatures. But look at that last part, autonomous battery swap. Think about that. When Atlas runs low on juice, it just walks itself over to a charging station, swaps out its own battery, and gets right back to work. No human needed. That is an absolute game changer for automation.
But all that strength and agility is one thing. What really makes a machine like Atlas so powerful isn't just the hardware, it's the brain. It's the super advanced AI that lets it learn and think for itself.
So, in the old days, you'd have to program a robot for one specific task, super rigid. Not anymore. With Atlas, an engineer can literally just show it what to do. The robot watches, and its brain, powered by those famous Nvidia chips, figures it out. Then it runs millions of practice runs in a digital simulation to get it perfect. It's not just following pre-scripted instructions anymore. It's actually learning. It's going from being a puppet to a real worker.
Okay, so a robot like Atlas needs a huge digital brain to do all that learning. And that brain, well, it has to live somewhere. And this, right here, is where our story goes from a single robot on a factory floor to something astronomical. This is where we start climbing that beanstalk. Take a look at this number, $602 billion. That's how much the world's 5 biggest tech companies, we're talking Amazon, Microsoft, Google, Meta, and Oracle, are projected to spend on their physical infrastructure in the year 2026 alone. Just 1 year.
And this chart really puts that number into perspective. It shows how fast this is all happening. The spending by these companies, the hyperscalers as they're called, has literally more than doubled in just 2 years. This isn't a slow and steady investment. It is an absolute flat-out sprint to build the future of AI. So, where is all that cash going? That's the critical question, right? And the answer is pretty stunning. This isn't just about building more of the same old cloud stuff. Look at that chart. 3/4 of this historic spending spree, about $450 billion, is being poured directly into building the foundation for AI, for the brains that will power things like Atlas. Okay, so let's break that down. What does $450 billion in AI infrastructure actually, buy you? What are they building with all that money?
Well, the biggest piece of the pie, a mind-blowing $180 billion, is going straight to GPUs. Those super powerful chips, mostly from Nvidia, that are basically the engines of AI. The next biggest expense, the actual physical construction of hundreds of new data centers all over the planet. Then you have all the networking, the special memory, and these massive cooling systems to stop the whole thing from, well, melting down.
And the scale here is it's hard to even wrap your head around. We're talking about more than 500 brand new data center facilities. And to power all of that, the world is going to need something like 15 to 20 gigawatts of new electricity. To give you some perspective, that's roughly the same output as building 15 new nuclear power plants, just for this AI boom.
So, whenever you see an investment this huge, happening this fast, you have to ask the big question. Is this a sustainable boom, or are we watching a bubble get ready to pop?
And here's the kicker. For the first time, these massive tech companies are spending way more money than they're actually making from their day-to-day business. They're funding this AI arms race by taking on staggering amounts of debt. We're talking over $1.5 trillion in new corporate debt in the next few years.
You know, this kind of spending is giving a lot of experts a serious case of déjà vu. This quote here, from an editor at a major tech blog, makes a direct comparison to the dot-com bubble back in the late 90s. Remember when companies spent billions laying fiber optic cable that nobody was ready to use? And then, pop, the market crashed. It's a pretty sharp warning. Caveat emptor. Buyer beware.
And that brings us right back to where we started. We went from a single robot on a factory floor all the way up this massive financial beanstalk to a $1 trillion global bet on the future of AI itself. So the question we're all left with is this: are we watching them build the foundation for our future, or are we witnessing the biggest financial bubble in history?
Thanks for watching Agentic Wave. If you found this helpful, hit that subscribe button and share this video.